Kupe, a Maori hero. One of the world's greatest pioneers has journeyed from his Polynesian homeland in search of paradise. A land that might offer his people a new and prosperous beginning. Kupe and his wife are the first humans to discover New Zealand. This is the final frontier, the last habitable landmass on Earth to be discovered by people. They are venturing into the unknown, a lost world where monsters still roam. A world of bizarre creatures, ruled by the deadliest aerial predator since the time of the dinosaurs. It's like a Hitchcock horror. Aboard great canoes, a new wave of Polynesian pioneers has voyaged the open oceans to colonize New Zealand. Guided by Kupe's promise of bountiful islands, capped with moisture and sweet-scented soil. They name the land Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud. These intrepid explorers will come to be known as the Maori.
Papoterangi tu ne pokairunga pokairaro. Pawahi te tau ihurangi, patu te tau ihurangi.
Fetching up on New Zealand's shores is an auspicious moment. It's heralded with karakia, a ritual challenge to enemies and evil spirits, a calling for blessings from their spiritual guardians. $80 million years ago, the time Australia and Antarctica were joined, a small fragment broke off this supercontinent and slowly headed into the South Pacific. New Zealand was formed, marooned in splendid isolation. Cut off from the rest of the world, a strange and unique set of prehistoric plants and animals has evolved. While medieval Europe is laying its foundations, the Polynesians are discovering a biological wonderland on the other side of the world. The only species that have reached New Zealand are those that can be carried by the winds or fly, drift in the currents or swim. Their dreams of discovering Kupe's paradise appear to have come true. Yet, now they are here, these Polynesians have ambitious plans of reshaping the islands to their own design. They have a proud history of creating dazzling civilizations built on their command of agriculture and gardening. They have transported tropical plants and seeds, staples from their homeland, with expectations of cultivating New Zealand's wilderness. Dogs arrive, and the kiore, a Pacific rat species. Both are a dependable supply of meat for the Maori. In Maori culture, the kiore is their respected and highly sacred possession. Other than a few bats, the Maori and their domesticated animals are the first land mammals to set foot in New Zealand. They come from a rich culture. They are a highly creative and devout people. They plant the sacred Maudi stone that holds the mana or life force of their homeland. It's a potent symbol they believe will protect them from evil spirits. Like planting a national flag, it represents the Maori's claim to New Zealand. The story of the Maori and their occupation of New Zealand will follow the grand themes of mankind's pioneering history, played out in miniature on these isolated islands. It's a story that gives insight into human nature. It's a story that represents us all. So what's this place like? It has no large ground-dwelling predators. Without them, feeding and nesting on the ground is safe. Many of the birds have lost the power of flight. In this strange world, birds dominate. Here, no creatures fear people. In their extreme isolation, they have never encountered a two-legged animal that poses a threat. Many birds follow the lifestyle normally associated with rabbits, deer, and mice. There are giants here, too. 11 species of moa patrol the islands. The largest of these birds, the giant moa, is the tallest bird ever to walk the earth. It's New Zealand's equivalent of a giraffe. Tuatara, a living fossil with a primitive third eye. It appeared on Earth long before the dinosaurs. The giant wetter's ancestry travels even further back in time, at least 200 million years. Their striking appearance and nocturnal habits lead the Maori to name them devils of the night. When tuataras hunt weters, they engage in a primordial battle witnessed by the dinosaurs. The Maori settlers take an immediate dislike to these reptiles, believing them to be punga, the father of ugly things. The short-tailed bat is a zoological oddity. It's the only bat in the world that lives on the forest floor. Millions of years ago, against fantastic odds, they were blown here and are now castaways. They rarely use the wings that carried their ancestors here. Instead, much like hedgehogs, they scamper the forest floor, digging for grubs. The Maori are to become highly superstitious of bats, believing them to be harbingers of doom, foretellers of death or disaster. The Maori soon realize their newfound world is far larger than any islands their people have previously occupied. In fact, New Zealand is a bigger landmass than all the Polynesian islands put together. Exploring the heavily forested interior, it won't be long before they encounter the island's top predator, a creature that will come to strike fear in the hearts of the Maori. Haast eagle, the largest and most deadly aerial predator the world has ever seen. It has a 3-meter wingspan, talons the size of tiger's claws that will crush the neck of a giant moa, a bird 20 times its weight. This is a specialist at crippling 2-legged prey. When it first sets eyes on humans, this pre-adapted man-killer sees fair game. It swoops down on unsuspecting victims at speeds up to 80 kilometers per hour. monstrous raptor remains by its kill for days. The Maori will speak of this giant carrying people away to feed its ravenous young. The Haast eagle is so terrifying that it will become a sacred totem of kite design. A birdman kite will fly to mark the recent death.
Matatihi o te rangi, ko te matataha o te rangi, e ko koe. Kai, whaunu mea e koe, ki te kau e tuata, ki te kau e tuawina. Tahi te nuku, tahi te rangi. Ko te kaua i hea, ko te kaua taumata rahi, ko te kaumata taumata raha. Te kaua e te rangi e. Piki tia e koe, tō matua i te rangi, tō hatu ai.
The kite climbs to the spiritual world of the Maori ancestors, and the tohunga, meaning spiritual leader, is a mediator between the natural and the supernatural. He sends his spirit with the kite to commune with the gods. The terror bird constantly preys on Maori minds. So great is their fear, the monster's likeness appears on sacred stones. They dread its chilling cry and name it Hokeoi, Hokeoi, Hu, believing its call to be a portent of death and war. Our fear of monsters like the Haast eagle is deeply ingrained in our psyche. It originates from the time our vulnerable ancestors were at the mercy of deadly predators. In Africa, the birthplace of humanity, we acquired the basic instinct of fear. Go back 3 million years, and it's more the case of man the hunted than man the hunter. This is the time of Australopithecus, the time early humans face monsters every day of their life. Life is nasty, brutish, and short. Day-to-day survival is the only concern. As a consequence, the brain has evolved only to deal with the present in a world where the future is a distant possibility. At some point, the tables begin to turn. This fragile creature gains the skills to make tools and weapons. The balance of power slowly tips in favor of the human species. Man the hunted becomes man the hunter. Africa is an unforgiving training ground. Over the millennia, the animals learned to fear people. Man is becoming the continent's top predator. A 100,000 BC. Fully modern humans are ready to leave their African cradle and start their odyssey across planet Earth. An epic journey that will span 5 continents, each one bringing a new set of challenges to survival. Australia, 65,000 years ago. The time many scientists believe people first set foot in this pristine continent. A continent filled with weird and dangerous animals. Here, people enter the land of fire, a land of monsters. The most fearsome reptile is the megalania, a giant predatory lizard, the closest humans have ever come to meeting a dinosaur. A super predator that can detect its prey from 15 kilometers, armed with murderous bacteria-laden teeth that pierce and poison its victims to death. People continue their perilous invasion of the planet, walking into North America 13,000 years ago. Here they encounter the land of vicious cats and huge bears. The short-faced bear, the most powerful mammalian predator ever to prowl the earth. This animal could even deter people from settling the continent. "12,000 years later, in the land of the terror bird, people once again live in fear of monsters. But they also face another overwhelming challenge in this new world. The Maori settlers have underestimated just how different this climate is to their tropical Polynesian homeland. Winter is a new and bitter experience to people acclimatized to the warm air of the tropics. Most of their imported crops have perished. They were ill-suited to New Zealand's cold winters.
Hey, ako huki ang aru hiki Ara.
These early years are bleak times. The Maori are on the brink of starvation. They have to adapt quickly or die. The Maori resort to eating ground fern roots, although the privileged are allowed to eat dogs and their sacred rats. But New Zealand has an untapped food source beyond the size of anything ever encountered in the rest of Polynesia.
Teneta.
It won't take long for the Maori to discover that the land they've colonized is a land of naive animals. Isolation has left these creatures ill-prepared for the refined and deadly skills of the human hunter. The Maori develop a taste for one particular animal, the giant moa. a monster bird that lays an egg 100 times bigger than a hen's. This great bird also yields succulent drumsticks the size of a cow's leg. Unlike the animals that evolved with man in Africa, the moa has no innate fear of people. They are sitting ducks. The moa becomes the lifeblood of the Maori, who, after lean times, are now prospering in this new world. With the moa providing so much of their energy, the Maori population is flourishing.
Oh, hari tūni tō mai oki. Oh, ana.
The birds are expertly prepared and cooked in underground ovens, but only the upper third of moa legs are eaten. The remainder of the carcass is dumped on giant rubbish heaps, or fed to the burgeoning population of feral dogs. In a large settlement like this, 40 people will consume 10,000 moa in only 20 years. That's 10 birds a week. Perhaps this is the Garden of Eden after all. But they are, in fact, creating a problem for themselves. The moa can only lay one egg a year, and each chick takes 7 years to reach sexual maturity. The birds simply can't breed fast enough to keep pace with the Maori's intensive hunting. They are doomed to extinction. Moa bones lie in shallow graves. 500,000 will be butchered and 11 species wiped out in just over 100 years. The world will lose one of its most extraordinary animals. In the moa's wake, the giant Haast eagle will also vanish. Incapable of surviving once its main food supply, the moa, has gone. But that isn't the end of this story. The Maori have unwittingly unleashed a monster in miniature, an ecological time bomb. The Kiori, released by the Maori when they first arrived, will eat 21 ground-dwelling bird species to extinction, birds found nowhere else in the world. But worse is still to come. The Maori play just a small role in the much bigger story of humanity's total occupation of the planet. The human species is the most versatile animal on Earth, allowing us to endure, explore, and raise great civilizations in every conceivable environment on the planet. It's our greatest triumph. But since people like us left Africa about 100,000 years ago, a bleak pattern of mass extinction has occurred around the world, a pattern that consistently coincides with the arrival of humans. North America 13,000 years ago, a Serengeti. Was it inevitable that human arrival spelt the demise of all these great creatures? Or could the story have gone a different way? Could North America in the 21st century still be home to elephants like the woolly mammoth, the Columbian mammoth, and the mastodon? If so, it should also be a land of saber-tooths, giant American lions, scimitar cats, and 2 species of camel. Should Florida today be home to the glyptodont, a weird armadillo-like creature the size of a VW beetle, preyed upon by the jaguar? As it turned out, the first people into the Americas, the Clovis, hunted 30 kinds of these large animals to extinction in just a few hundred years. Throughout history, humans have ridden a rolling wave of extinction. In the case of North America, not so long after Columbus claimed he discovered the Americas, European hunters arrived on the scene with rapidly repeating guns, weapons far more deadly than Clovis or Maori spears. Once again, history repeats itself. Only humans are becoming far more efficient killers. In Australia, humans were prey to reptilian monsters. To survive, we had to defend ourselves. We held fire. Fire put us in control. With it, we changed the landscape to suit our needs, and in the process, exterminated the monsters we met. New Zealand in the 1400s. The Maori resort to desperate measures. Overhunting means the moa are becoming scarce. Fire is used to flush out the forest's remaining birds. In relentless pursuit of the moa, almost half the forest in the South Island is burnt to the ground. By the 15th century, New Zealand's natural resources are dwindling. A land of plenty has become a land of starvation. Tribes compete for depleting resources. Summertime is dedicated to the god of war. The Maori excel in the art of guerrilla warfare. Their fighting style mimics the aggressive behavior of the fantail, the warrior bird in Maori mythology. Before long, thousands of heavily defended forts known as pa spring up, stimulated by an upsurge in warfare, a direct response to rapidly declining natural resources. It's at this time the war dance designed to instill terror in the enemy is first performed. It's called the haka, meaning stand your ground. Soon, the Maori are to meet a new enemy. Invaders from foreign lands will appear on the horizon. Just as the Native Americans had to contend with the arrival of Columbus in 1492, the Maori, just over 250 years later in 1749, meet with another European. Captain James Cook arrives on board HMS Endeavour, and a new wave of colonization begins. Captain Cook claims he's discovered New Zealand and grabs its rich resources for the British Crown. The British settlers will sweep their own lethal blade across New Zealand. Loggers cut swathes of magnificent trees for shipbuilding and agriculture. With the European settlers come lethal diseases, alcohol, and guns, devastating for the Maori and the natural world of New Zealand. Like the Maori before them, the Europeans arrive with the ambition of making a home away from home, and they succeed. transforming dense forest into a green and pleasant land. As with the Maori and the Kiori, they introduce yet more destructive alien plants and animals. The place the Maori had named Land of the Long White Cloud will later be nicknamed Land of the Wrong White Crowd. In the 21st century, 60 million European sheep munch New Zealand's imported landscape. Across Polynesia, the pattern continues. Alien species invade and devastate every island they colonize. Hawaii, deceptively beautiful. Yet over half the island's exotic plants are imported and have snuffed out the rare and exquisite plants that once lived here. 60% of Hawaii's birds have vanished, succumbing to the ravenous appetites of European rats. Alien species like rats, when in their own environment, rarely cause a problem, as their numbers are held in check by their natural predators. But let loose in foreign lands, free from their predators, they can quickly reach plague proportions. Invaders often choose to snuggle up close to humans. They thrive in urban and agricultural environments, and just like humans, they are competitive, versatile, and eager to travel. Humans have become the most successful invasive species. Like weeds, we have spread unchecked across the planet. Our population growth has been exponential, almost bacterial. Six billion and increasing, the human species is insatiable, consuming the natural world's resources at an unsustainable rate. Our only recourse has been to improve the natural order, warping and homogenizing nature into monoculture. Mankind today, just as the Maori before, fights over dwindling reserves. In the race to grab Earth's resources, the wave of extinction continues to roll. It's likely that half the Earth's plant and animal species will vanish by the end of the century. The Sumatran rhino is officially classified the living dead, a prehistoric animal with no future. Habitat destruction and overhunting means extinction is a certainty. Its population has plummeted to such critically low levels, it can never recover. What you see might as well be a computer-generated animation. Throughout our long struggle for survival, we met monsters. But once humans learned to overcome them, did we become the monster? The Maori story may offer a glimmer of hope that humans are capable of redressing the balance. There is evidence that soon after the moa became extinct, the Maori succeeded in looking beyond their immediate needs to the fate of their world. Nature reserves were set aside and fiercely guarded. The tohunga, the wise man, closed the forest to bird hunters, and the land became tapu, meaning sacred. Animal and plant numbers began to recover. Can the same change of outlook happen in the 21st century on a global scale? Only if man is prepared to learn the lessons of time. Easter Island, the remotest scrap of land on Earth, lost in the Pacific Ocean. Here, proud monoliths lie in neglect, abandoned by a Polynesian society in ruins. The forests felled, the birds gone, the soil eroded by farming and the wind. When the Polynesians arrived here in 400 AD, the island was covered in dense forest. Steadily it was cleared to plant great gardens, build canoes, and erect these magnificent statues. Within 1,000 years, a culture that created the only written Polynesian language vanished, collapsing into warfare, cannibalism, and environmental ruins. Here is the paradox of humans. We are capable of such heroic and triumphant creation, and yet we are also highly capable of perpetrating such horror on the rest of the natural world.